I don't know how clear you can see it, but this gravestone in this historic cemetery near where I live talks about a man named Martin Angel, and it says right here, killed by Indians. Kind of an interesting epitaph. I love to walk in these old cemeteries. There's so much history in them, and I stopped by Martin's here just because I was drawn to the words. I've seen it before. In fact, there's another one here in the cemetery. I think it says murdered by Indians, and it's interesting. Depending on what side of the conflict you were on, there was murder and killing going on both sides. So my thought was, what an interesting epitaph for a life. Not about whether he's a good dad or a good son, did civic things that were good for the community. Just says he was killed by Indians. And you know, it's interesting as I read through all these old gravestones, just the stories that they tell. And sometimes we think all of our story is told in life, but sometimes when things die, a history's written or it's captured. And some of the things that you're going through right now that are literally dying will write an epitaph of your life. And not all dead things are negative. There's some stuff that frankly needs to die in my life. I'd like on my spiritual tombstone, if you will, to say Garrett's died of pride or self-promotion or whatever thing I'm walking through, or lust or greed. And some things really just need to have an epitaph put on them. Killed by, not necessarily Indians, First Nations people, but killed by the grace of God. The grace of God put something to death in my life. And if you're going through a death cycle right now of something in your life that has been a stronghold in your life, just let life have its way. In the kingdom of God, life puts to death death. And it's just the reverse many times in the way of the world. And so today I'm walking out of that old cemetery and I'm heading off into the forest here, just thinking about some things I want to put to death, so there can be on my spiritual tombstone, the positive one, that said, killed by the love of God. Take care. See you later.